Poetry Pals, welcome back to another video. This week I am with Callum Wensley and
Hello.
We are going to teach you how to write an ode. Can we get a shot of us both drinking tea really loudly? It's kind of my thing.
Yeah, sure.
Ready? Callum, do you mind sharing with the group what you thought an ode was?
Poem that most lines started with the sound "oh".
Well, the thing is that a lot of odes do actually say "oh" a lot.
Yeah, I don't do research for poetry.
That's my job.
Yeah.
So, what we're going to do, I'm going to quickly run through what makes an ode an ode. Spoiler alert, it's actually pretty vague. And then we're going to write our own odes. So an ode is mostly defined by the contents of what you're writing about. And according to my very helpful Poet's Manual and Rhyming Dictionary, an ode is said to be a lyrical poem of exalted emotions. Its exaltation is invariably connected with the praise or celebration of the subject to which the ode is dedicated. The ideal content of an ode is highly imaginative and varied, whether the purpose be the celebration of some occasion or merely the development of an idea. So basically, an ode is written in praise of a thing or subject. And that subject could be anything, but if we're talking about, okay, the most famous odes, Keats, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows Keats's odes, or knows of them. Keats's odes will be about a physical object, like a nightingale or a Grecian urn, but will not be just about that.
No,
they will be about something greater and exalting not just that object and making it above what it is, but also making the emotions connected with that object above. It's a praise thing, it's a positive thing, and it's real intense. It's not just like the weather's nice, it's everything. An ode has a pretty long history. They were first written in ancient Greece and they did not rhyme, but they did have a particular structure made up of 3 parts. So it would have a strophe, an antistrophe and an epode. And the easiest way, having researched it, because it took me ages to understand what it meant, and having researched it, the easiest way of understanding it is like 2 verses and a chorus. So the strophe and the antistrophe are like identical but provide opposite arguments to each other. So if you were, say we were writing about a flower and we were writing an ode to a flower, the strophe might be, "This is such a beautiful flower and I really like it," and then the antistrophe would be, "But it reminds me that we're all going to die one day." So it's identical in form, equal length, equal weight, but they present differing arguments. And then the epode is normally differing in structure from the first 2 sections, but provides some sort of argument. So that's like the chorus bit. And then this structure is repeated throughout an ode. But no one really writes odes like that anymore. So the other type of like regular form of an ode is the Horatian version, or this is the one that Keats used, and actually more English odes will include a rhyme scheme. Most of Keats's odes are in 10-line stanzas, and this rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. And they're of a regular rhythm where one line, I think the 8th line, is shorter. And they're all iambic. I think they're in iambic, tetrameter, and then the short lines are trimeter, which means the iambic tetrameter means 4 stressed syllables and the shorter one is 3 stressed syllables. But odes today do not fit that structure either. And actually an ode today or a contemporary written ode will be merely something that is written in praise of a subject. And more contemporary poets that are writing odes today, it is a particular trend in American spoken word poetry at the moment. So definitely people to check out would be Sam Sachs and Olivia Gatwood. Before we just started watching this, we were watching all of their videos online for their odes. What was the Sam Sachs one that was?
Ode to the Belt.
Ode to the Belt, and the one that I really liked was Ode to the Women of Long Island by Olivia Gatwood. And one of the things that Olivia Gatwood did when she came to the set at the Bristol Poetry Festival was she says that she has started writing odes about things that she is ashamed of, because in today's society, women are often made to feel ashamed about a lot of things, and so by writing odes about the things that you are ashamed of, you sort of take the power back and endow something that would have been with shame and endowing it with praise. And so that's the sort of vibe that I'm going to go on for my journey. What are you going to do?
I'm going to rewrite my ode to Orion's belt. I've also been taking notes.
Okay.
So far, I've got odes as a title. I then got written in praise of a thing.
Yeah.
That was a sentence I remembered. Then Horatian is old as balls. Old balls. And I've then written down the rhyme scheme of a Horatian ode.
You got it wrong. It's A-B-A-B, not A-A-B-B.
Well, piss.
Callum's actually going to be coming into this at like step 10 of the steps where I been guiding you through before, which is rinse and repeat the things until you're happy with the poem. So Callum's already written this poem called Ode to... Is it Ode to Orion?
Ode to Orion.
And so what he's going to do, we're going to go through my normal steps like we normally do, and then when it comes to like the stitching bit, what I imagine you doing is bringing together your free write and your highlight bits as well as your old poem, and like combining all the bits together. Okay, so now we are gonna run through my step-by-step guide of how to write a poem. I never stuck to this as strictly as before I started doing these videos, but actually I found it really, really helpful to have this structure, and it helps to create a discipline.
Structure is good.
So the first thing is to come up with an idea, and our idea is an ode, and you're going to write about Orion.
Yep.
And my idea is, I'm sort of nicking it from Olivia Gatwood, I am going to write about something that brings me shame. And one of the things that I am thinking about writing out is about my body hair, more specifically my pubes, because, yeah, they're a thing that is kind of shameful. Like, it's not the sort of thing you go out being like, hey, my pubes are sneaking out the side of my bikini, check it out.
I'm almost glad you don't. I feel like we're too close for that to be okay.
I did own it once.
You did?
When we were on holiday in South Africa, and I had the tiniest bikini bottoms, and I didn't realise how terrible they were until I was on the beach in South Africa with my pubes creeping down my thighs. And Izzy was like, I can see your pubes. And I was like, yeah, I know. And I just owned it. I don't know, because there's quite a lot that Olivia Gatwood has already done, like Ode to My Period Pants.
Here's the thing. A lot of poets have written about a lot of things. Did Olivia Gatwood write about your pubes? Did she write about your period pants? No. She wrote about hers. So you write about yours.
I'll be honest, like Ode to My Period Pants by Olivia Gatwood is pretty great. And I'm happy to leave the period pant literature to her for that.
I mean, fair enough.
I don't feel like
really
I have anything to add to it.
No.
So I think I'm just going to go with pubes. Yeah, I'm going to go with pubes. Do you think an ode has to be religious?
No.
Good. Because if I am going to write a poem about my pubes, I don't need religion being brought into it.
No. ain't nothing holy about that.
So, the next space is find a space to write, and we're here in my living room floor. In a bit, I might put the Lord of the Rings soundtrack on for while we're writing.
Throwback to doing the MA and losing hair from stress.
Step 3 is mind map. So we're going to spend a little time mind mapping our ideas, and we're going to go from there. industry make bikini bottoms that don't cover the relevant parts?
Because we live in a society dominated by the male gaze, and we want to see as much as we can, while also making you guys spend as much as you can to cover as little as you can.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is our mind map done. That mind map included coming up for me with funny words and phrases about my pubes, and for Callum included a lot of research into Orion, which I think is a really good thing, because if you're writing about anything that has a history or something, being able to know as much about that before, especially if it's got a mythology, anything that's been written about before that you can like riff on and play with is really good. So
yeah, because like last time I wrote specifically about Orion's belt and just kind of used the belt imagery, and I want to make it a bit more expansive than that, because there is a whole fucking constellation around.
There's a man attached to that belt.
Yeah, there is, and there's a bow and arrow attached to the man. I keep forgetting that. So he's a hunter, so I'm going to talk about that.
So now that we've done our mind map, we're going to put it to one side. So we're going to start our free write. For now, we're going to start by giving ourselves 5 minutes in which to write. The point of a free write is to not stop writing. Do not stop. Do not think what you've written is shit. It might be shit, but carry on. Just keep writing. Don't stop. The idea, the whole point is to word vomit on the page. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Ready, set, go. Hey, it's future editing Josie, and we lost the sound from the first part of the video. I think the microphone turned off, and so I'm going to dub over the rest of the video. Here we go. So we have done our free write, and now we're going to get started on step 6, which is highlighting. What colour would you like, Callum? I would like yellow, please. Okay, I preferred purple anyway. So now what we're going to do is go through all of our free write as well as our mind map and highlight any of the favourite phrases that we have that we want included in the final version of our poem. And it can be from the free write and it can be from the mind map, so it doesn't matter. Cool, let's get started. Okay, so we are done with our highlighting. So now we're going to move on to step 6, which is stitch. And we're going to take all of our highlighted phrases from our free write and from our mind map and stitch them together to make our final, or at least the first draft of our poem. I don't know what I'm saying here, but I'm sure it's incredibly interesting, but I'm sure we are also not missing out by not having the sound on. Okay, I'm just going to skip to the bit where we start stitching our things together. It is worth saying as well that you might want to add certain bits. I know that when I was doing my highlighting, I realised that I didn't have an end to my poem. I needed to actually rewrite the end as part of my stitching together, but I did have quite a good structure. So let's get started. we finished our stitching and we're sort of getting there, but we sort of realised that our poems aren't done yet. This is the problem with something that isn't a strict form. Because you don't have loads of rules and regulations to stick to, that freedom can sometimes be incapacitating. So we just gave each other feedback, but there's no point me dubbing over that for you. So we have read it out loud, got feedback, and then we're going to use that feedback to edit our poems. Step 10 is just to rinse and repeat, retry all of these until we're happy with the version that we've got. And then step 11 is to put it out there. I'm hoping that I will take this to an open mic night, feedback it some more, and then hopefully make a YouTube video about it, because I think it would be really fun to do. Because I do not think that a literary magazine will be after this one. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Callum Wensley, for being on this week's video. Clap, 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 clap. And make sure you like and subscribe to this video. And next week I'll be doing something else. See you later. Bye. Protector of my Sleeping Beauty.
Nice.
And 80s porn revival.
Fair.
I think my favourite though is Bikini Peeper Down the Thigh Creeper.
Get out.
Razor Refuser.
Yeah.
Odor Diffuser.